And what's going on, everybody? We are back for another one today. Going to do a short hop over to Glacier Park, Montana. Just waiting for maintenance to bring our aircraft over from maintenance and get into the gate, and then we will be ready to go. As always, got my handy dandy Black Rifle coffee, best coffee in the world. Not sponsored by them, just huge believer in their product. Awesome company, awesome people with an awesome mission. So yeah, so today gonna be hopping over to Glacier Park, Montana, and it's about an hour and 1 minute en route. Gonna be cruising at flight level 310. Should be a good time. Using the static aircraft mod from FlightSim.2. If you haven't gotten this yet, I highly recommend it. Definitely makes the airports feel a little less dead, a little more alive, I guess you could say. And it doesn't hit your frames at all. Now there will be some some model matching. I've seen some of the fly-by-wire, or correction, the Asobo Neo at the gates. So it's like whatever they have listed, whatever Neo is supposed to be there as the static is using the Asobo model. So if you got a bunch of those, that might hit your frame rates a little bit, but all in all, you get some really good looking models sitting at the gates. Alright, so it looks like maintenance has got our aircraft parked for us. We'll just wait for them to get off of the aircraft. Cool. Alright, so here we are in the aircraft. Looks like maintenance has left things a little bit more set up for us, so it should be a little bit quicker for us to get out of here. Looking at a departure time of I can't remember what time we set for our departure. Maybe it'll come to my mind now that I've had a sip of some Black Rifle coffee. Let's see. So we'll try to get out of here in about the next 15 minutes or so. Run through the setup real quick. So as we said, 1 hour and 1 minute en route. Alaska Flight 2276. Typically this flight is operated by Horizon, but going to run the Airbus instead. Today carrying 16,441 pounds of fuel on the aircraft. And we got 102 passengers with a little bit of cargo. So relatively light. And going to be departing off of, let's plan for 28 right. We have no SID. Just going to be an area departure. Going to take off 28 right, go north to Battleground, and then on to Yakima Spokane, and on the Victor 448 airway. Planning the ILS runway 2. This is what the winds are favoring today. I have shot the RNAV to runway 20 in Glacier Park, and it was a pretty interesting approach. Brings you pretty close up and over to the north of the airport, pretty close to some mountainous terrain. Makes it a little bit tricky. I think it's got some pretty high minimums for that reason. Alright, let's see. I know there is a fix nearby CBU that will give us a good idea of how far we are from the airport as we're leaving, and then we'll put in FCA, which is the Kalispell nav aid near Glacier Park. Going over to a NITB page, put in 0 fuel weight and CG, block fuel, just call it 16.5. Since we're light, we'll go flaps 1, flex temperature of 66. Transition altitude, as we all know in the US, is 18,000 feet. V speeds of 129, 130, and 134. Cool, so that's set. We'll turn on the constraints. Last I saw, 3012 was the altimeter setting. And we'll make our initial climb altitude 9,000 feet as assigned by ATC. Although we don't have ATC today. let's see. Let's get some baggage going. Alright, let's go ahead and shoot off for the Addons so we can get current info before we head out. Alright, so the APU is on. It looks pretty well set. Turn on seatbelt signs now that we've got our fuel on board. Turn on the fuel pumps. Get that jet bridge pulled. Let's get everything bright in here. Alright, so quick little departure brief. Alrighty, so we are parked here, as you can see, and we will taxi out Tango Kilo Victor Alpha to Alpha 1. Short 28 right, depart on the 283 heading up to Battleground. We got 9,825 feet of dry runway, so anything before V1 we'll stop and deal with that there, and then after V1 we're going flying and we'll deal with any issues airborne. Good weather, but we do have mountainous terrain, so we'll be departing with the terrain on the ND. And initial climb altitude's 9,000 feet. I think that should just about cover it. As always, I'll be the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring, and we'll be flying from the wrong side today. We'll be flying from the FO side, which is how I fly every day. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find another simmer that flies from the right seat. So we are pretty much ready to go. We'll call the tug over. I am all over the place on these views right now. Alright. Addons Info Whiskey is of 1853 Zulu, winds 280 at 8, 10 statute miles. Few clouds at 15,000 feet. Temperature's 24, dew point 10, altimeter 3011. I'll make that correction. Visuals 28 left, 28 right. So it'd be departing off the same. Increased bird activity. I wish the sim could recreate that. That'd be pretty neat. 3011. Get those turned on. Alright, cool. Let's check outside, see if we got our tug. Homeboy never came over. Let's try this one more again. Maybe maintenance didn't pull us up far enough. Oh, there we go. Now he's coming on. Today we do have a camera set up on the throttle, so we'll turn that on shortly as we get ready to head out. get that bump, we'll know we're ready to go. Maybe we won't get the bump. Seems like sometimes they get a pretty hard bump when the tug is connected, or when it connects, and other times it don't. Alright, so before start, checklist. Maintenance log and tail is on board and check. Cockpit prep is complete. Gear pins, covers removed. Signs on auto. ADAIRS, nav. Fuel. Minimum takeoff fuel is 14.5. We've got 16.5 on board. Actually 16.4 on board. Altimeters 3011 set. EFB is checked. Windows, doors, and slides closed and on. Beacons on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brakes on. Transponder. Transponders auto. Before start, checklist is complete. Alright. Start the clock. Release the parking brake. Wow. I just realized what I did. You know, things are a little bit different when you're streaming. You get fast paced and you tend to mess up. That's the second time I've done that on a stream now. Cool. Now, let's roll. Brake is set. Clear to disconnect. Alright, now that we've are ready to start engines, we will get the camera going for the throttle. Alright, so we will start the timer. Now bleed air, starting 1. Use this timer instead, a little bit easier for y'all to see. Alright, so we got a good start on engine 1, and now we'll go engine 2. Restart the timer, and engine 2. Might hear some dogs barking in a minute. I think UPS is bringing something up to the door. Yeah. Stand by while I go shut these dogs up and let you enjoy the views of this. Alright, now that the dogs have been quietened down, we have a good start on engine number 2. So just a quick breakdown of how I have my throttle set up. Pretty much everything is default. For my spoilers to be armed, I have this button here next to the engine mode selector. Push that and it arms the spoiler, so you'll see me hit that. So I guess we can go through that little flow now. Normal, arm the spoilers, reset rudder trim, flaps 1. TCAS TA, trim the aircraft, 30% is our CG today. We got both engines started so we can kill the APU. We're ready to go. Brakes released. We'll do a brake check. Pressure's green. That throttle cam might be a little shaky. Keep the throttle on a TV tray, which is actually the same color as my desk. So when you actually look at the setup, it doesn't look too bad. It's just a little shaky. Alright, just a flight controls check. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, and rudder. Full left, full right, and neutral. Just go ahead and jump over right here. Make our lives a little bit easier. We'll take alpha all the way down to alpha 1 short of 28 right. Alright, so it'll be a pretty quick taxi over to 8 right now, so we'll go ahead and do before takeoff checklist after before takeoff flow. Gotta disarm your brakes on the TCA throttle, otherwise it won't arm up here on the auto brake. Cool. Alright, so before takeoff checklist to the line. Gross weight comparisons complete. Pitch trim 30%, CG set. V speeds 129, 130, 134, flex 66. Flaps config 1+F. Flashness checked. Flight controls checked. ECA memo takeoff all green. Should be green. I guess we go ahead and ding them.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
I think I like the old one better. That one sounds too, I don't know, goobery. ECAM status is checked. Predictive wind shears on auto. TCAS code set TARA. Cabin crews advised. Mini brief is complete. Takeoff checklist to the line has been completed. Like I'm struggling on today's stream. I feel very miscombobulated. I'm not flowing like I should. Alright, so here comes Alpha 1 to 28 right. So as indicated by these taxi signs here, before takeoff checklist below the line, runway takeoff runway 28 right's confirmed. Fuel 14.5 is required. We've got 16.3 on board. Engine mode selectors normal. Bleed packs are set. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Alright, let's rock and roll. Again, takeoff heading will be 283. All right, here we go. SRS auto thrust blue. $80 knots thrust set. And there's V1. Rotate. And there's positive rate. Gear up. Heading mode. We'll fly this until we're cleaned up. Acceleration altitude is 1,500 feet. So there's 1,500 feet. Open climb. Positive trend on the airspeed. Thrust climb. Check. Flaps up. Now, go direct battleground. camera. Don't need it anymore. Direct battleground again. That'll give us a straight line to where we want to go. To go. I guess less than 1,000. HC just cleared us up to 190. First climb, up and climb. So after a few more of these streams and getting some practice doing this stuff, start doing some VATSIM content. 10,000 feet. Kill the lights. And I've got my lights bound to my keyboard, so you won't see me click the lights hardly ever. Alright, let's go autopilot 1. Look at some of these views. Alright, 500 till transition altitude. And there is transition. 1,000 to go. This heading numbers are driving me nuts. Let's fix this real quick and then we'll keep our climb going. Cool. Alright. And we just got cleared up to our final cruise of 31,000 feet. We'll open climb. Hopefully try to get above some of this chop as best we can. And once we get to cruise, we'll double check, make sure everything with our route is good. I'm pretty sure we have to do make some changes. I believe the route has us going direct FCA. Yeah. Spokane Victor 448 to FCA. And the problem with that is FCA is more than likely going to be way too close to the airport. So it's like we would fly over the airport and then probably have to swing out and then join the approach, which is pretty dumb. So we'll check the route, see if there's any changes we can make. Maybe get rid of Kalispell VOR FCA, and then whatever fixes before FCA, we'll go from there to joining the approach. Man, some gnats in here, or a gnat. Let's see. Yeah, FCA. So Kili, we'll fly Victor 448 to Kili waypoint, and then join the approach. Or we can always do it the easy way and just go into heading mode and go the direction that we want and join the approach. So we're still getting some chop, maybe a little bit of mountain wave as the winds will go up these mountains, stir up some bad rides. Would go into drone camera and look around the aircraft, but I forgot to take it or put it back into follow mode. So now my drone camera is sitting in Portland, and we're quite a ways from there, so won't be any more drone camera footage today. And as always, my number one fan and my only fan, Mr. Zulu Wakatira, my good buddy Rio, also a coworker of mine, also a fellow flight sim enthusiast. And I always count on him to watch the streams. I think I say this in every stream, but if you haven't watched our shared cockpit video yet, you should go check that out. We did a short hop over from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando doing shared cockpit, running the same checklist I'm running now. I think it turned out pretty good. go check that out. It's something that we are continuously practicing and trying to get a better flow going. And once we're a little more proficient, we're going to do that same stream again. Maybe a different city pair, but look forward to that. So it looks like the rides have smoothed out a little bit. Maybe not. 1,000 to go. So now that we're almost at top of the climb, let's take a look at our flight plan. Speed Alt Star. So running through, everything looks good. Yep, and there's the problem that I figured we're going to have. And it's doing exactly what I thought we would do. So we're going to, as of now, with the route that we have, we would overfly the airport, swing around to the southwest, and join the approach and land. Don't like that, so let's see if we can delete FCA. Nope. Alright, so what we'll do then is, as we get close, when FCA is our next fix, we'll just go direct cogs and completely skip FCA, and then we'll be set. Degrees Celsius in Portland, 11 degrees Celsius in Glacier Park. That sounds real nice. Right now I'm currently in Orlando, Florida, where it's like probably 31 degrees Celsius, which is pretty daggum hot. So we'll look and see what the temperatures are like and compare. I'm not even sure what 10 Celsius is in Fahrenheit. Probably what, 42 maybe? Let's do a little Google search. Ah. 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds so nice. Alright, so let's look and see what weather we've got. I love this 3D printer. It's so cool. Okay, so I don't know where any of this is coming from. Oh, you know. Oh, that's a dew point. Oh my gosh. Duh. I'm sure everybody that's watching this is like, no, dumbass. Temperature's over here. Alright, never mind. So it is plenty warm. Oh, check this out. 3 miles. Smoke. FU is smoke enemy tar. So that'll make things interesting. Good thing we've got an ILS. So let's just do a little comparing. It's 24 degrees in Portland, 27 degrees in Glacier Park, 26 in Spokane, 32 in Orlando, and in the typical Orlando fashion, got some thunderstorms in the distance. So let's compare these to Fahrenheit. So 24 in Portland is 75 degrees. It's really nice. 27 degrees is 80 Fahrenheit. 26 in Spokane is 78. And then Orlando is 89.6 degrees, so almost 90 degrees in Orlando. Let's check, just for giggles. Let's see what Vegas is looking like. So I know Vegas has been super hot lately. When I was working last week, it was so hot that there were flow control programs for Vegas because it was so hot. Aircraft couldn't depart. Didn't have the heat affects engine performance so badly that aircraft couldn't depart. I had a captain that had continuous maintenance issues with the aircraft because of the heat. It's crazy. So in Vegas, it is... Oh, that's not bad at all. Why couldn't it have been 33 degrees Celsius when I was working last week? Last week it was, saw it upwards to like 48 Celsius, which is 118 Fahrenheit. It's ridiculous. Might as well just go hang out in Afghanistan. Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and run through an approach brief. So we're not arriving on any star today. Glacier Park has no stars. So we'll be planning ILS runway 2. Frequency is 111.5. Final approach course 20 degrees. The final approach fix is hot route at 5,800 feet MSL, which is 2834 off the ground. Decision altitude is 3166 because it's decision height 200 feet off the ground. Touchdown zone elevation is 2966. If we go missed, we'll climb to 4,100 and then in a climbing left turn to 12,000 on a heading of 190. So that's what we'll plan to do. We'll climb to 12,000 on a left turn on a 190 heading. All this other stuff, not even going to try. It's a standard 3-degree glide slope with approach lights, PAPI on the left, and again, climb to 4,100, climb the left turn to 12,000 on a 190-degree heading. And then I'll just swing it back around and hand flat down to the runway, or at least try. So our minimums, 200 feet off the ground, half-mile viz. Right now we've got 3 miles of visibility due to the smoke. So I'm curious to see if it'll get worse. When I planned the flight, it was, I think, 6 miles. So in a short amount of time, the visibility has reduced by half. So once we land, we've got 9,000 feet of dry runway, so plenty of runway. We will try to turn off by Delta. If not Delta, then we'll turn on runway 30 and then exit on Bravo. And we'll taxi in on Bravo 5 to the gates. We do have mountainous terrain, so we will have terrain on one of the NDs, and weather's not a factor, but smoke is, so viz could become an issue. And that will be our brief. Looks like we've left the mountains for now. Now we're over all kinds of farmland. Now I'm from Louisiana, where our farmland is not a bunch of circles like that. Curious to know why their fields are... Obviously the fields themselves aren't circle, but the crops, I guess, are circle. I'll have to look into that. Very curious. It's about the same on the off the right wing. Go take a short break, and I will be back with y'all in just a few moments. Alright, we are back and we are just about ready to descend. See how far out we are. So we got 122 miles left on our flight plan. It'll be a little bit less than that since we won't be flying to FCA. So I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and start our descent once we figure out what altitude we need to go down to. Alright, so it'll come down to 9,000 feet, which is where we plan to intercept rocks. We do have to be mindful of the mountainous terrain. Make sure we don't get down too low too fast, otherwise that could become a problem for us. Let's see what time it is. Alright, so we'll shoot off for another weather observation. And we'll include Spokane, just so we know what the weather's like in case anything happens and we've got to divert. While we're waiting for that, let's talk about our fuel. So in the event that we have issues getting into Glacier Park, which I don't anticipate, we have 15 minutes of policy fuel. So this is a fuel policy that you have your 15 minutes on top of your reserves. So we've got 1,500 pounds for that 15 minutes, and then a dispatch add fuel of another 1,500 pounds or another 15 minutes. So we've got a total of 30 minutes that if we needed to, we could hold. And this is including an approach into Glacier Park, go mist, go into a hold, sit and hold for 30 minutes before we have to bug out to Spokane. Obviously, want to keep in mind any en route contingencies that you could have going to Spokane. If there's some thunderstorms in the way, something like that, you might want to bug out a little bit earlier than burning up all 30 minutes of that fuel to give yourself a little extra to deviate around thunderstorms or that kind of thing. So we've got 30 minutes of hold fuel in case we need it. So let's see what the weather is. Get some real good bumps. Alright, so as of 18:55 Zulu, which is just a few minutes ago, winds 140 at 4 knots, 3 statute miles still, smoke, clear skies, temperatures 27, dew points 11, altimeter 30.09. And in Spokane, I got some smoke as well. Wind 080 at 4, 8 statute miles, scattered 6,000, broken 16,000, broken 22,000, temperatures 26, dew points 9, altimeter 30.04. We got smoke in all quadrants. That's a fun flirty thing there. So we'll enter in our performance info. So transition, I like to go from the bottom up so it kind of falls in line with the METAR. So 18,000 feet, transition, winds 140 at 4 knots. Temperature is 27 and the altimeter 30.09. And then as we previously discussed, 200 feet on the minimums, and that is decision height. Since we got 9,000 feet of dry runway, we'll plan auto brake low. It's an ILS, so we will arm our push buttons. We'll Probably should have done this from the get-go. I noticed that when I went and rewatched some of the stream that I've done, that it's kind of hard to read some of the text. So we'll crank that up, make it a little bit easier to read. Alright, so other thing that we are going to do is noticing some differences between what the aircraft took versus what I have in my flight plan, the SimBrief flight plan. On my flight plan, it says we go to a fix called Kelly, which is just short of FCA, which is the nav aid that's pretty much right next to the field. But on the airplane, I don't see any Kelly. Kelly should be somewhere over here. But we don't have that. So instead, we're going to go, whatever this is, icy to GOGS, which was drastically going to shorten up our how long we're airborne. So it means we have to come down faster. So we'll bring the boards out a little bit, try to slow us down and maintain our speed while increasing our descent rate. You can tell we're starting to get some of that chop again off this mountainous terrain. And when we get close, we'll turn that throttle camera back on. So we are below standard. Shallow this out a little bit. We kind of got to where we need to be. And altimeter setting, Glacier Park is 3009. Alright, so now we'll do the approach briefing, or the approach checklist. Approach checklist briefing is complete approach stable by 1,000, so it'll be 3,966 feet. That is MSL. So the approach stable by is touchdown zone elevation plus 1,000 feet. So 3,966 feet MSL. Basically just be stable by the time the aircraft says 1,000 feet, which is based off of how high you are off the ground. ECAM status is checked. Seatbelt signs on. Minimum's 200 feet. Engine NAIs 1 and 2 are off. Altimeters 3009 set. Approach checklist complete. Alright, so now we'll go direct GOBS. Really know where the aircraft's going because it shouldn't be making a right turn yet. So we got 33 miles until GOBS. Turn that terrain on. Again, we don't want to get too low too fast with all this terrain around. I'm not mistaken, we're going to end up is out in this kind of lowland, if you will. I guess I didn't even need to expedite that descent that we did a while ago anyways, because now we're getting a little low. I'll tell you what, we're going to hold here at 13 until we get a little bit closer. And this will make us burn a little extra gas, so we will be burning into that 30 minutes of extra fuel that we've got. And while we're chilling, I'm going to kind of check out the terrain, see what the terrain height is around. So the highest peak that I see should be this peak here at 7,004 feet. At least in the direction that we're coming from. On the other side of the airport, we got 7,422 feet. But this should be no factor. This was Kili that I was talking about a while ago. This is on my flight plan, but aircraft did not put this in like it was supposed to. So technically what it should have done would be come in on that Victor Airway to Kili, FCA, and then we'll turn around, come to Gogs, and come in. At least based off what the aircraft was doing and what it should have taken. Alright, so now we will keep it coming down nice and slow, paying very close attention to our altitude and the terrain around us. Y'all hear that? Out of the coffee. It's literally like the worst. So we'll go ahead and start slowing down. Because even though we're crossing at 9,000 feet, it's really like crossing it's really like crossing at 5,000 feet on a regular airport that's not in mountainous terrain or high altitude airport. Throw out the boards. 12,000 feet.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
So, in my opinion, we're not looking too good right now. Possibly a tad high, and we are definitely fast for being, I don't know, 17 miles from the runway. But I'm sure we can get it slowed down. So we'll go ahead and arm, low star, glide slope is now captured. And we're going to keep it coming down. And so we might have to go mist. So if we do go mist for our speed, not being configured and stable, we will climb to 4,100 feet. This glide slope, yep, we are high. Doubt we're going to be able to catch it. Might be just slow enough to drop the gear. Might help. We'll climb to 4,100 feet and climbing left turn to 12,000 feet on a 190 heading, which is going to be hard to do since I'm single pilot. We'll figure it out nonetheless. Alright, let's turn on that camera. Just a sec. Make sure the approach phase is activated. Spoilers are staying out. Alright, let's go flaps fun. Capture the glide slope.
2,500.
This approach altitude is set. Keep working it down. Hopefully we can slow down fast enough. It's going to be tight. Below flap 2 speed. Speed check. Flaps 2. Checks, flaps 3. And flaps 4. Now we can retract these spoilers and arm the spoilers. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2. Everything's looking good. Landing checklist. Cabin crews advise auto thrust speed, auto brakes low, ECAM landing all green, gear down, signs on auto, ground spoilers arms, flaps config full. Landing checklist complete. We cleared to land. Good, so I'll take over.
1,000.
Stable. Says right now we got a tailwind, but it's within limits. 10 knots or less of a tailwind to be able to land.
500. 400.
Now that tailwind is turning into a crosswind,
400.
making this a little wobbly. It's all good.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
$100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Floater. I'll take it. Alright. Spoilers, reverse green, decel. There's 60 knots. Manual braking. And run the timer for the engines to stabilize. And we missed it. We missed our turnoff point and we missed our backup turnoff point. Like a rookie. It's all good though, gives us more time to clean up the aircraft. Alrighty, so now that we're off, get straightened out, clean up the airplane. It's a lot easier to do this when I've got my buddy Rio doing shared cockpit and he can do all this for me and I can focus on taxiing, but since he's not here today, it's all me. Somehow we heated up those brake fans, or the brakes, so we turn the brake fans on. We're clear of that crossing runway. We need 3 minutes after reverse for the engines to stabilize. So it's pretty good that we missed those turn-off points, because we would be having to hold short of the gate to give that 3 minutes. And this looks like it'll time just perfectly. So there's the 3 minutes, so now we're good to shut down. Got any gates with marshalers? I don't see any. And there's only just a few gates, so maybe we got some over here. Got some marshalers. Very nice. Cool. Set the parking brake. APU's running. Shut down engine 2 and engine 1. Can't see that no more. I just wish they would have something hooked up to this GPU so it's not driving around by itself. That's not the most realistic. All right. So that will do it for this stream. We'll complete things by running through the parking checklist. So we have slides are disarmed, engines off, seat belts are off, exterior lights are set, ice protection's off, fuel pump's off, yellow electric pump off, chalk signal has been received, and parking brake is on. That'll do it for this one. I want to thank everybody for checking out this stream. I'll go set up for the next one. The next stream is going to be, as chosen by my good buddy Rio, Atlanta to Sarasota in the CRJ 700. Hopefully we'll get some good views. Get some good views into Sarasota. I know they got some overwater approaches. Pretty sure there's also some scattered thunderstorms in Florida right now as well, and that'll make things a little more interesting. So without further ado, y'all have a good one, and until the next one, which is scheduled for 45 minutes from now, 5:15 Eastern Time. We'll see y'all on the next one.